The Monaco GP has technically been around since before F1 even began, with the first race being back in 1929 when someone got all their buddies from the automobile club together and decided to go racing around the streets of the Principality. Hashtag rich people things. It was on the F1 calendar in its first season in 1950 and has been a staple since 1955. But what makes Monaco so special, despite it not being the best track on the calendar? Why is it a part of the Triple Crown? Well, let's find out. Hi there and welcome back, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. My name is Amy and I have a somewhat unhealthy obsession with Formula One. In today's episode, we are obviously discussing the Monaco Grand Prix. I got my finest Red Bull corset on in the hopes that this is somehow going to get me flown there within the next 24 hours. Monaco is probably on every motorsport fan's bucket list. It is a place we all want to go, and for good reason as well. Steeped in motorsport history. Now for me, the reason why it is such an important race isn't down to the track. It is down to the prestige, the glitz, the glamour. Again, the enormous amount of wealth and history in those streets. Insane. If you guys just need like a travel guide, just, let me know. Hit your girl up. And so it has stuck around and been a part of this calendar for so long. And why is it not necessarily the track? Well, let's get into the layout, shall we? Hello everyone, it is Professor Moan Amy. As you can tell, I got glasses and a nice jacket now. Anyway, see, our budget is increasing. We've got coloured ink now. We just don't have enough budget for a pointer yet, but we'll get them one day, I swear. Anyway, this is the Monaco Grand Prix street track. Ain't she stunning? Obviously, Monaco is a street track, if you couldn't tell. You probably can't tell from the but it's a street track. She consists of 19 corners, one straight, I guess, and then two kind of straights-ish. They got a little curve to them, but they're basically straight. A lap length around here is 3.337 kilometers, making it one of the shorter laps on the calendar, resulting in a 78 lap long race. I know that sounds like a lot, but again, pretty short lap, all things considered. Now I'm gonna be so real with you in terms of real proper overtaking corners in Monaco. They don't really exist these days. The cars are kind of too big. Kind of need to go on a diet, make them a little smaller, but they're currently a bit too big for this. It's more of, a qualifying track where everybody has to put it precision, pinpoint, millimeters off the wall in order to nail the qualifying lap and get a better start for the race. I mean, moves tend to be tried. Into turn one, obviously you got your DRS zone. Makes it a bit easier, as well as no, you don't really try them into the hairpin there. I have seen them try it into the first part of Mirabeau and Casino, but not really. Realistically, Nouveau Chicane, you get it sometimes, and La Rascasse, but those are very rare people can pull those moves off. I'm sure Daniel Ricciardo has done it sometime. Monaco and Daniel, he slays. Wait, back to me. Now, last time out was actually a surprisingly dramatic one for Monaco, all things considered. Obviously, you had Max Verstappen starting on pole. We're not shocked at that one. Fernando Alonso was starting in second. Now Leclerc. Leclerc technically qualified in third, but because this is Monaco, he started the race in sixth due to a grid penalty for impeding. He just loves it there, doesn't he? Now, there was a bit of action on the first lap, a few lockups, some minor touches into the first corner, nothing too big, and a few touches going into Mirabeau, but we were really chilling. Hulkenberg ended up getting a 5-second penalty for an opening lap incident, but other than that, surprisingly calm, okay? Sergio Perez was probably the most surprising part of that lap. He didn't have a brilliant qualifying, as per, and ended up pitting after the first lap to go onto hard tyres. Getting that mandatory pit stop out of the way nice and early going straight onto those hard tyres, supposedly to try and go to the end of the race, which probably would have been possible had it not been for rain. Don't we just love a bit of rain in the sport? Oh my god. The race actually became pretty rain-soaked around the time most people would have taken the first and only pit stop of the race, with several drivers, including Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, either tagging the wall or, just sliding off the track completely in the few places you can actually do so in Monaco, of course. Most of them were like, yeah, it's probably about time to go onto the inter tyres. Not Alonso though. Alonso pitted from second, swapping his hard tyres for mediums. Interesting choice. He did have to pit again, like literally the next lap, to go onto inters because what was that move? Aston Martin? Nuh-uh. Having to take an extra pit stop at any track is bad, but it is particularly bad at a track like Monaco where overtaking, not really a thing here. Not really the vibe. Verstappen, however, after he, brushed the wall a little bit, pitted straight onto inters, continued to lead the race. Alonso also retained second despite that, pit stop blunder, thanks to the gap he had built over the person sitting in third. The race then, calmed down a bit, settled into its usual Monaco boringness. The race is not great. Max Verstappen did end up taking victory with Alonso in second, and Esti Besti in third place for Alpine. Imagine if we got that this season. Absolutely insane. The scenes. In terms of things to look out for going into this weekend, there are a few. We'll start with the obvious one, McLaren. McLaren have put out a special livery for this weekend in honour of Ayrton Senna, who passed away 30 years ago at Imola. The Brazilian was arguably one of, if not McLaren's, most successful best driver ever. He raced with them for around 5 seasons, gaining 35 wins, 3 championships, and 4 constructor championships. Obviously most decorated driver to have raced for McLaren. Other than Lewis, but Lewis is Mercedes. No, he's Mercedes. So it makes sense for them to honour him with this livery, with CEO Zach Brown saying, "The team is proud to recognise and celebrate the extraordinary life and racing legacy of Ayrton Senna through this McLaren livery. Senna remains revered and respected as Formula One's greatest icon and McLaren's most decorated driver." Do I like this livery? Kind of. I'm not really a fan of that colour combo already. Senna's helmet, beautiful, iconic, gorgeous. I just don't know how I feel about it being on the car. It is still a good livery, so the colour combo isn't my favourite. But other than that, I like it. I'm a fan of one-off liveries. I think we should do them all. The Golf livery that McLaren ran a few years ago, I think about it on a daily basis. Also, just keep an eye on McLaren in terms of pace and where they are on the track. Obviously, Lando Norris got his first win 2 race weekends ago, and of course he was on the podium last week, taking it right to the line with Max Verstappen. So who knows what could happen this weekend. They have been looking very quick, and I know Monaco, Red Bull stronghold for years, even when Mercedes was dominating that place. Red Bull fucking stronghold, okay? But McLaren could potentially steal a victory if they get lucky. Moving on. Charles Leclerc looking to break his curse. Now, Monaco is obviously Charles Leclerc's home race. However, the thing with him is he never goes well here. Even when he qualifies well, something happens. It doesn't go well. He's never won here. It's cursed for him. He qualifies well, he just cannot do well in the races. So of course he will be looking for some better luck this weekend and to potentially break his curse that has been running his whole F1 career. Another thing to keep your eye on off track, the drivers' market. The drivers' market is continuing to heat up with the announcement of Nico Hülkenberg leaving Haas next season and moving over to that Audi operation come next year, obviously when Audi replaces Stake. Obviously, we all think that seat's going to go to Ollie Behrman next year, potentially. That's what I think it's going to happen. But there are a few drivers on the current grid, 10 to be exact, so half of the current grid, who are out of contract for next year, including the likes of Sergio Perez, Logan Sargent, and Daniel Ricciardo, who are all at risk of losing their seats, very sadly for Daniel Ricciardo loving Amy. They all really need to step up the game the next few race weekends in our first European leg of the season. There's so much young talent waiting in the wings, the likes of Liam Lawson and of course Kimi Antonelli, who realistically could snap up their seats. Realistically, Liam Lawson easily slide into that V-Cub seat, easily slide into the Red Bull seat and no one would actually question it. Kimi Antonelli, again, easily go take that Williams seat with the ties to Mercedes. So yeah, they just have to bring it the next 2 weekends. And of course, there is a slight risk of rain this weekend. It wouldn't be Monaco without it. However, practice sessions are all meant to be dry, sunny, clear, French skies, you know, but come qualifying and the race, there is a slight risk of rain, which means that the drivers will be getting used to the rain as they're qualifying, as they're racing, which could potentially be real interesting. In terms of your news, it was a rather slow week this week, I am not gonna lie. However, the F2 and F3 calendars for next season have been announced, so where will they be racing alongside F1? They'll be racing at the opening event in Australia next year. So excited for that one, so ready. I love seeing them this year. In fact, it's going to be the opening race for both F1, F2 and F3. I'm so here for it. I'm so excited. They will then be heading to Bahrain a few weeks later, and then F2 will continue on to Saudi Arabia. Both championships will then rejoin F1 for the European leg for a good chunk of those races. F3 will end their season in Monza, as they traditionally do. However, F2 will continue on to Baku and then wait, a good couple of months before the closing 2 rounds at the end of the season. Other than that, F1 24 is of course set to launch later this month, and there's a special event being held for it in Monaco. A little virtual race, if you will. Alex Albon and Charles Leclerc will be partaking amongst other sports stars, celebrities and influencers. Cesar's Diego Jota and Willany, which is pretty cool. It's gonna be a fun time. Now for your track times. Obviously, UK, 2 p.m. race, high jealous, but Australia, we didn't have it too bad either. It's at 11 p.m. US, you'll probably be watching the Indy 500, and I don't blame you. I do not blame you one little bit, but you can watch the Monaco Grand Prix just before the Indy 500 starts, 2 hours later. Speaking of which, Indy 500 this weekend, I'm going to try and watch it, but it's on at 1 a.m. and I work at 9 a.m. the next day. So, we'll see how that goes. I do want to watch it. I do really want to watch it. But again, timing, living in Australia, it's a bit awkward. It's a bit of a thing, trying to watch that race. But I'll give it a go. And we'll pray that I don't fall asleep. Anyway, that brings this weekend warm-up to a wrap. Are you guys excited for Monaco? I know it's not necessarily everyone's favourite race, but it does at least throw up a few things, make it a bit interesting. The vibes are always kind of immaculate, and I do always wish I was there. Again, I have been to Monaco, but it was just like 3 weeks after the race. All the stands were still up, so that was quite cool to see. But I would love to go there one day, when I'm rich. So then, never. Anyway, yeah, if you liked the video, then like it and press the red button to subscribe for more F1 and motorsport content like this, and I will see you all in the next one. Laters.